What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Ham Radio Crash Course. Welcome to Saturday. Today we have an ambitious show. I'm going to prevent myself from blowing up. That's the idea. That's the ambition. That's goal one. Goal two, though, is to build a sweet battery pack with the help of Dennis, AD6DM. He's the CEO of Denko, a name that you'll be very familiar with here very shortly if you haven't already heard of it. Hang out while we play some memes, and we'll get started soon. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the Ham Radio Crash Course. Today we are going to be building a QRP battery pack. That's our primary goal, but we also have kind of another fun thing that's going on. If you go to the link in the description for our Discord, which is not clicked for some reason, why are you not showing up there, buddy? Let's do that again. We've got a giveaway going on, and we're going to give it away last 10 minutes of the hour for a Yaesu FT70. So thanks to Ethan for making that possible. The link is in the description. You go to the giveaway chat room, and it's right there. You can see a little picture of it. You click the little party horn on the top there where there's about 1,000 people that have entered so far. So make sure you get in on that. And then once you're on the Discord, just hang out after the live stream. Go to the live stream chat at the bottom, and that's the after chat where Dennis will be joining us, and we'll be talking about batteries, among all kinds of other ham radio stuff. So make sure you follow along there. Just take the link in the description. Anyway, thanks again for joining us. Really do appreciate it. Andy, he was first comment of the live stream. I know you guys like to say first in there and have little battles on that. So thank you, everybody, for coming out and commenting. We really do appreciate it. We got a lot to cover, though, so I'm going to try and move through these as fast as I can. We've got some websites to talk about very briefly. We'll get to that in a second. Hamtactical.com, down to the last couple of coffees, and I may just save them for myself. This is your last live stream for the Winter Field Day shirt. Leia's going to pull it down as she normally does. She only runs them for like a week after any event or contest. And then beanies. Beanies are there. You can't see it, but I've got the prototype hat. Ha ha ha. You can't see it yet, but we'll be having hats on there shortly. Reminder from Leia, the white beanie there that says Ham Radio Crash Course Baby Beanie. It's not just a small beanie for a human head. It's actually for babies, so don't buy it if you're a large adult human being. So keep that in mind. All right, what's going on today? Well, today we are talking to AD6DM of Denko batteries. And let's just bring him right in, and we'll go through some of those links as we get going, because, again, a lot to cover. Dennis, how's it going?
Hi, guys.
Oop, wrong one. There we go. So how are you doing this week? How are things going?
Oh, it's been a busy week. I just got back from vacation and straight into work. So many things to do, so many emails to catch up on, but
I was putting you to work because I was sending you messages while you were in Hawaii, right? Your vacation spot was Hawaii this year, so
you're like, hey, let's build a battery.
Let's build a battery. Let's do it live. Nothing bad could happen with building a battery. And Dennis, why is this a potentially dangerous thing that you could be doing? Just so we get the legalese out of the way right from the beginning.
Well, batteries, especially the ones that we're working with, they have very high currents and very the chemistry doesn't like being shorted out. So it's if you do things wrong, you could very easily start a fire.
Yes, and we will be working with a spot welder, right?
Yes, that too.
And that can add its own interesting character to what's going on. What we should be worried about or keep in mind with spot welders?
Well, the spot welder is using a very high amperage in a milliseconds of time, but done incorrectly, you could potentially also melt things, melt the wires of the actual spot welder and so on. So you have to be very careful just how you're touching those leads onto whatever you're welding to not cross those leads.
And this is the unit that you have and I picked up as well. This is the, how do you pronounce that? Malectrix?
Malectrix.
And we're using a super high quality Walmart car battery for our little spot welder here. I read the instructions. Also. What's that? Go ahead.
I have that as well.
Yeah.
I just went over to Walmart. I think it was $35.
Oh, you got a better deal. I had to pay $50 for mine. I read the instructions on the website for the Malectrix spot welder, and it recommends at least 600 cold cranking amps, and that's listed there on the sticker. So just keep in mind, if you have somewhere between 600 and 800, you're good. And the notes read that 800 CCS or CCAs is on the high side or very thick nickel strips, which we are not going to be doing today. We've got very thin strips, right?
Yes. But the other side to this also is that you don't really need a spot welder.
Okay.
The initial ones that I did were soldered. I soldered the nickel strips. It's a lot messier. It takes a little longer. But the spot welder is super convenient. And if you mess things up with the nickel strips, you can just rip it off and try again. So it's really a lot easier to work with. Since getting this, it's been so much fun just getting the packs all set up.
Yeah. And speaking of the packs, where do people go for the battery packs that you use? I noticed they're not your bog standard 18650 batteries. Where do you go for that?
The ones we'll be using for this QRP build are called 26650s.
Okay.
I also use another one that's a little larger called 32650s or 32700s. And but the one you click there are the 32700s.
Those are the 32s. Yeah, I see that. Let me go back to the...
You can get these at AliExpress. That's where I get a lot of them. Or you can go to Battery Hookup, which has quite a few of those in stock on any given day. So if you scroll down a little bit there, you can find there you got some 32650s there with the Battery Hookup branding.
Yep. And we're looking
for
a 26.
little bit more.
Yep.
There, that box right there. That's a box of 16 or 20. Yeah.
Oh, this one.
That's a case, but the one before that was a smaller box.
Oh, this guy. Yes.
Yeah. Those are the ones we're using.
Okay.
Except ours are a little bit more powerful in terms of amperage and have less capacity. So
interesting.
We have 2850 milliamp hours, whereas they've improved them since, and now they can go up to 3800 milliamp hours.
If you look at just look at the cost per cell, box of 16 for $34 is not that expensive. And you consider kind of all in price wise what you may be doing. This kind of pays for itself after you buy one or two retail ham radio batteries at some point, right? How did you find that?
Yeah, I find that I get now it's about a quarter to a third the price of a typical commercial ham radio battery.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely I've made a lot of batteries, so I've definitely
okay. I think it's
there.
Something to repeat. Also, want to remind everybody, links for all of this are in the description, the video description, as well as Dennis's Twitter and his pages, like the one we just showed about the battery build page. That was very helpful in looking for different parts and stuff like that. So if you want to try this on your own, definitely check the links in the description. And reminder, because I saw a couple of questions come in, the giveaway is over on Discord, and it's on the hashtag giveaway chat. So if you take the link in the description to our Discord and you go to the hashtag giveaway on the left-hand side of the screen, or if you're on a phone, click the upper left-hand corner, go to giveaway, and then there's the text up there. It says Yaesu FT70 handheld ham radio giveaway with a big party horn. The red horn with the little confetti coming out of it where the numbers are flip-flopping right now. If you click on that, it turns red and the numbers turn blue. You're in. That's all you have to do, and I'll contact you if you win. It's that simple. So looking at this, kind of understanding some of the background on all this is a pretty straightforward build, but we do have to be a little careful. So what's the kind of first things one would do if they wanted to go about this, or how do we go about doing this build?
Well, what we're going to be doing, because each of these cells is 3.2 volts, and we want to get to like 12 to 13 volts, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to put them together in a way that puts them 4 in series. So that's going to multiply the voltage by 4, and we're going to end up with a nominal 13.2 volts. And that's what the whole spot welding and nickel strips thing is all about. Now, we also have some cell holders. Those are convenient, but you don't need them. I like to have them so that they space out the cells a little bit. If there's any kind of heat or expansion or anything like that, you're insulated there. We're making a flat pack. Yes. So it's just going to be 4 cells in a row. And from there, we're going to attach this thing called a BMS, a balance management system board. And you can get those for fairly cheap on Amazon or AliExpress. And those essentially protect the cells so that they're charged all kind of at the same rate and the same voltage. And no one cell just goes out of control and overheats or anything like that.
So that's what it's keeping everything kind of leveled off a bit.
Kind of balances everything out. If one is charging too fast, it kind of bleeds off power off of that one and lets the others catch up.
I would have. This also covers the incoming power too, right? For charging, is that also what they do? Okay.
Yes. And then from there, we're just going to attach some power poles to it, wrap it up, and
that's it.
Use it for ham radio.
We do have a bit of heat shrink tubing and some other stuff, and again, all the links are in the description for this kit. All in, not including the battery, the car battery, and the spot welder. I don't know, maybe how much is this? 50, 60, 70 bucks, depending on how you spec it out.
Yeah.
About that. So if you think about, off-the-shelf brands, you can get it like Ham Radio Outlet or whatnot. This is definitely cheaper. So
yeah.
Joseph Clifton in the chat. No link for Discord. There is. You just got to scroll down a little bit further. I promise you, it's there. It's towards the bottom. Okay, so let's. How do we start this? Let's kick it off.
All right. Well, I'm going to switch over to my desk view.
Yeah, I think I'm going to probably move over. Dennis said the only thing we got to safety, plenty of safety things to keep in mind, but that I'll need safety glasses, so I'm going to put mine on now, and I'll walk over. I'll slide over here to the to the solder station. So I've got my solder glasses on, or my spot welding glasses on. Let me slide over here now.
So this is the BMS we're using. You may have seen this before in other videos. It's called a Dali BMS, and it's pretty well known and pretty reliable. This is a 20 amp version, so it will allow up to 20 amps to pass through it, and I think that's reasonable for radio.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do now, these are the cell holders I was talking about. I'm just going to put my cells in there. I think you already have that set up.
I do. Why don't I show what I've got cooking over here? Oh, cooking's probably the wrong word. And timing-wise, my wife in the chat asking, do I have a fire extinguisher ready? I do, honey. Thanks for checking in on me. A hot silver model. I thought this was really cool looking. And yes, I tuned this up one time, and it tunes up on 6 meters. So, hey, works as an antenna, too.
Nice.
Okay, so I have mine already in this. Dennis provided these little black plasticky things that orients the positive and negative leads appropriately, right?
Yes.
So that helps. Okay.
So I'm just trying to push mine together here. There's a lot of friction to these.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So that's essentially the how big the pack's going to be. Put the BMS aside for now because that is for later. You see here I have my leads for my spot welder. Just kind of ready.
Yep.
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our nickel strips, and we're just going to cut them to size. So if we look at this, what we're aiming to do is make this battery positive and this battery negative.
Okay.
So the pack negative, pack positive. And everything in between needs to be strung together to add up to 12.8 volts.
Okay.
So the first thing I'm going to do, oh, and I forgot to tell you this, Josh, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, what I used to do was tape it down. Like if I was working on something, I'd tape the nickel strip down too. And then someone on Twitter told me, just use a little magnet. And just let it hold the nickel strip in place. So that's what I do now. I don't know if you have a little magnet handy.
Oh, man. I do, but for the life of me, I don't know where it is.
But you can use electrical tape to hold it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of guesstimate how much nickel strip I need between two cells.
Okay. And it's kind of guesstimating, right? You're just kind of lining it up.
It just needs to cover enough so that you have enough room to spot weld it on those sides.
Thanks the carries for the super chat there. Appreciate it.
So I'm measuring about that much.
Okay. Yeah, I'm eyeballing it too. And you're doing the center too right now?
I'm
Or are you going to do
doing the bottom two.
I guess
now.
it doesn't matter. Either's top or bottom once you get it done, because if you put the
Yes.
two there, then it's now the bottom, right?
So what I do is I take my first section and then I just lay it on top of the remainder.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Make it easier to measure, then cut again.
I'm going to check my work here. Make sure I didn't make it too. That's probably
now I have
too
two.
short.
Right?
I'll save that.
Then I'll get another nickel strip because it's not enough to make three. Then I'll just lay that on top of there and I'll cut a third one.
Okay, and some spares.
I apologize for the angle of my desk view. I don't have the fancy overhead type thing.
Oh, it looks good. I think people get the idea.
So now I have my 3 nickel strips cut to size. I'll get rid of the other 2 here.
Okay, I've got my 3 now too. And a little bit of spares, and then 1 leftover, so I'll leave that over here. I've also moved all my radios and stuff away from this whole area. There's nothing really of any value, just so everybody knows.
So now I'll pick up one of these nickel strips.
Okay.
And at this point, there's really no risk of closing a circuit and shorting batteries. It's just one strip, right? So I'll put that right here on top here.
Okay, I'm watching this with everybody. We're watching this. I'm gonna actually flip over here while you do this. So we're gonna wait. There you go. Go for it.
And then I'm gonna
fire when ready.
I will put the magnet here so it kind of holds it in place.
I see.
Adjust it. Press it down flat against this.
So you're kind of using that to split the difference.
Yep. And I just sometimes my OCD gets in the way and I was like, is it centered? Is it perfectly centered? Well,
oh, I see.
There we go. So then I'll get I got to turn on my Arduino spot welder here.
Yeah, for everybody that's curious, it is an Arduino-based spot welder. So running off the car battery. In fact, well, I'll let him do it. So here we're watching the first solder.
Yes. So this is the area that I'll be soldering, or
All
not
right.
soldering, spot welding. There's a little foot switch.
Yeah.
I got to get that in position here. And then you basically just put the leads, don't let them cross each other, but you put them on the nickel.
So don't touch them.
Yeah. And then you press the foot switch.
Oh, it actually popped. I could hear it in my microphone.
Yep. I'll do it again.
Okay.
Ooh. And then you do it on the positive side.
I like that. You guys hear the pop? That's kind of cool.
There. So
All
that's
right.
one nickel strip.
Okay, now I'm going to try this. This is what everybody's waiting for if I blow up the house. Okay, so let's see if I can get in a little closer here. All right, so I have actually, I'll back up for a second so you guys can see. This is the Arduino spot welder. It's kind of off behind the chat. This top lead is for the foot switch. It's in standby mode. I will get the wire out of the way for the soldering iron. And I just kind of tape mine together. That's probably not going to work. Let's test it.
Will it fit?
It'll fit, but I think I'm going to cut that. I don't like it, so I'm going to move it. I'm going to get rid of the tape. Okay. So now I can do... Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take... it's in standby mode, so I'm going to click this thing for a second. Okay, it's out of standby mode. Now, I have mine tuned down to 10 milliseconds. What do you have yours to?
Mine is up to 19.
19. Okay, I'm going to try this with 10 first. Foot switch now. Oh, hey, it got it. But it looks a little light, so I'm going to kind of come up to 15.
Just got to find your sweet spot.
Okay. Foot switch. Now. Foot switch. They do stick on. The probes stick. Is that supposed to happen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And if you watch carefully too, the cables actually jump.
Yeah.
Move.
So I'm going to do the positive side now. Foot switch. And let me zoom in so you guys can see it. Sorry about that.
Looks like some good welds.
Yeah. All right. And guys, I'm pretty much, I will say I built this like yesterday, the spot welder. I assembled it and I'm making welds now with it today. I did test it on some other stuff using the strips. And it seems to be okay. That's pretty good.
So yeah, that's something to mention when you buy the Electric's Arduino car battery spot welder. It is a kit. So you do have to spend some time to actually get it on the battery, put it together.
I think I had it assembled in 30 minutes, maybe.
Okay.
So
that's a lot faster than I did.
Once I laid all the parts out and I went to the little instructions, it was real easy. It was quite fast actually. So let's do the next ones here.
So I'm also laying my second strip here.
How many solders can you go through before the battery starts to, or welds before the battery starts to go low?
I have no idea. I've never had it go low. I mean, it's starting a car, so I imagine you have a few thousand spot welds.
I actually took the battery and put it on a battery tender before, like after I bought it last night.
Oh yeah. When I'm not using it, it's on a trickle charger.
Oh, and it does. Okay, so the leads are getting a little warm now. That's interesting.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna watch you as you do your thing here.
My perfectionism again.
Yeah, not me. I'm just like yeeting it onto there. Yeah, I could hear the little pop. That's pretty cool.
Oh, I'm moving it with my finger.
So a couple of questions, and I want to make sure we get them. By the way, if you do at Ham Radio Crash Course in the chat, right, with my name, I'll see it, and then I can try and answer as we go along. So there's a question from Patrick Dickey. Are you touching one lead to the nickel and one to the battery? It almost looks like they're both on the nickel strip. They are. They're both on the nickel strip.
Yeah, they're both on the nickel strip. You don't touch the battery.
Yeah, so you never touch the battery. It's all on the nickel strip, and there you go.
All right, I'm flipping it over.
And Brett Glass asks, aren't you supposed to run the current between the case of the battery and the lead rather than between the two spots on the lead? No, the lead. It's the nickel strip welding. So you're welding the nickel strip to the battery.
So this is where we have to be careful when you flip it over. So I got my spot welds. You can see here. They're on pretty good. They're not moving.
Yeah.
Flip it over. This is where mistakes are made.
Okay.
If you put it here, you're going to start a fire.
Okay.
Put it here, you start a fire.
Okay.
You got to put it right in the middle.
Right in the middle. I did.
And then put your little holder in place there.
All right, so we're watching you do. Now we're at the dangerous part, the most dangerous battery.
I mean, that was it. That was the danger. Is don't put it here.
Okay. Don't bridge them.
Here.
Okay.
Because if you bridge those cells, you're basically closing the circuit. It will do a runaway. Thermal will start smoking, then it will catch on fire.
Does the nickel catch up pretty fast?
Yeah.
I'm not going to test it to find out, but
I mean, I burned my thumb and forefinger once accidentally.
Oh no!
Shorting one cell, not even two cells, just one. So it's it heats up very fast. And then so let's get our leads again.
Oh, there's a question asking what plate are you doing this on? It looks like you've got a metal plate. What is that?
Oh, this is just a soldering plate.
Oh, okay.
It's like it has little magnetic things that you can hold boards with and alligator clips to hold. It's kind of like your helping hands, but it's powder coated, so it's not actually conductive. All right, I'm going to solder these now. Just straighten these out a little bit.
I'm watching you, and then I'll follow along. Van Flick in the chat asks, do you have links to the battery welder build? Yeah, it's the links to the battery welder have all the links to the instructions as well, and it's the Melectric.
There you go. I don't know if you could see that too well, but
Yeah,
is it my horrible lighting?
it's a little.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it rotated now. You're good. So
Yeah.
let's do mine here. Okay. So yeah, so here's the nickel strip, right? And here's the nickel strip. So I'm gonna take the two leads. They're kind of close, and I'm gonna tap my foot switch until it fires, and that's it. And I kind of turn them and rotate, move them, do it again. And I am like twisting them to break them free.
Yep.
I'm doing this on the fly, guys. You're learning with me. But I gotta say, this is not
while it's flying.
Yeah, exactly. I used Microsoft Flight Simulator once. So that's it. I mean, well, we've got more to do, but
so if I take a multimeter right now.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
And then I do positive and negative on the multimeter.
Okay.
Let's see if I could do this one-handed and show
and you're
everybody.
Doing DC volts here, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you can see. Oops.
I got mine. I'm there.
I got 10.32 volts. So these cells are pretty discharged.
Mine's 9.71. But that's we're connected at least, right?
That means we have continuity
and
between the four cells, and they're contributing to each other.
Zach Van, or Admin Loyal on the Discord, asked, would it be ideal to discharge the cells before doing this? Sure.
I've never actually tried to do that. I have tried charging the cells before proceeding with the BMS part, but for the most part, I always just go with whatever they are and figure that they'll balance themselves out.
I will mention this just because Sideboom was telling me, hey, practice on aluminum cans. So I cut a bunch of aluminum can strips, and I tried it once, and I have a little piece of ceramic that I did it on, little tile, and it sparked so bad.
Nice.
It blew the aluminum can pieces apart. So you don't necessarily want to do that. So don't necessarily do that. Okay, so now we've got a semi. Mm-hmm. Yep, we'll go back to you here.
I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself.
No, that's fine.
So each one of these points, we're going to be attaching BMS leads. So when we're attaching the BMS, it's going to go on the negative, the pack negative, then it's going to go on the first positive, second positive, and then third positive, and then battery positive, or pack positive. So that's 5 leads. So this little thingy that comes with the BMS, basically it's color coded and in order.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 1 black wire and then 4 red wires.
Okay. There's a question in the chat for you. If you don't have the welder, can you solder the strips on?
Yes,
or
absolutely.
Can you just do and you can just solder on the BMS cables too, right? Or the wires?
Yes, and that's what we'll be doing. We'll be soldering these wires.
Excellent. Okay.
But, so this is where people get confused. And I've actually, even after building a few batteries, I've actually shorted out BMSs because I did this wrong. But essentially the BMS is going to sit here on top.
Yep.
This thing is going to plug into the rear. And then this first black cable is going to end up connecting to BMS, or the pack negative.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is going to go to B1. We call it B positive 1, so it's going to go over here.
Always be positive.
Yes. This third cable is going to go to B2, which is over here. It's in between the cells here.
Mm-hmm.
This one is going to go to B3 on this side. And then finally, the last one is going to go to pack positive.
Right. Here. So you had kind of a handy trick you were talking about before.
So what I do is I do extra spot welding.
Ooh, okay. I'm down for some of that.
I think I lost my strips. They must have fallen. So I'm just going to take another strip that I have.
Okay.
So I like to take little flanges and just kind of spot weld them on and then kind of bend them over like this.
Yeah. How long do you make them? I'm looking
And
right now.
you got to make room for this BMS, right? So this is going to be here.
Right. And you probably don't want to have all your.
So you're going to want to put a little flange that probably goes maybe like a centimeter at most over the edge.
Does the BMS leads, do they need to be the same length, or can they be
Well, you're going to cut them
fit?
to length, because what you need is you need them to just reach those solder points and then cut off the excess.
Oh, very good. Okay.
So I'll do that now. I'm thinking one here like this. So I just kind of place a finger there and then I cut it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch where you put it, so I follow along. So you're starting on the bottom, or quote unquote the bottom.
I mean, technically, I should start here.
I'll just follow your lead. However you're doing it is how
I'm
I'll do
flipping it around, so I'm going to confuse everyone. But
yep.
Basically, I want to. This is pack negative right here. So I'm just going to start here.
Okay.
And I'm going to put this thing I just cut.
And let me see the length of that again.
Or maybe I had it wrong. Maybe it was like this.
Can I see the flap over the top? Show me how much you're going to get over the top of onto the BMS side.
Oh.
About. Oh wow, a lot. Okay, I appreciate that on the other.
It's like a centimeter, I would say.
Okay.
If you can see that.
Yep, I do. Thank you.
So, handy magnet holds it in place.
Yeah, that magnet idea is now that I'm doing this, yeah, that magnet idea is golden.
And then just solder this onto the negative side. Oh, I keep moving it around.
In parallel, I'm gonna do mine too, just to speed it up a little bit.
Standby. Gotta reset it.
Me too. I was on standby. I'm really impressed how actually quick this goes.
There we go.
I just knocked down 3 of them in super speed. You can see that right there. I just did the battery negative. I'm using tape.
One.
That's all I'm doing. Hold on, let me go back to you.
See that?
Yep, I see it. I copied you.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to do the same thing. And I keep losing nickel strips.
Are you doing the same thing on the positive, the battery pack positive now?
I would do it maybe right here.
And you're on the bottom now.
Yeah.
Quote unquote bottom. Okay.
So I'm just going to measure an overlap there, then bend it over.
And that's to the negative?
It could be here too, but
I guess it doesn't matter once they're bridged, right? Okay.
Yeah. I'm just going to put it there. And then just kind of mark with my fingers where I want it to be, and then cut. And then now just place it on top here. Now this is an unnecessary step, but I find it has the benefit of having cleaner cabling. So I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit blurry.
I see. Let me show you mine here. So I've got the bottom, right? So there's my pack negative.
Yep.
And now I'm gonna do this guy right there, right? Is that the right place before I go blow myself up?
That looks good.
Okay. Let's try it. Woo! That's fun. Oh man, I'm glad I bought this thing. Dennis, so by the way, everybody, in case I didn't mention it, I should take a moment to say this. So let me take a break here. Let me slide over for a second. The reason that we're doing this is because of the patrons. So thank you, patrons, for supporting the channel. This is a patron picks episode. I should have said that right up front, but I had Dennis coming on, and we got a lot to cover. So thank you, patrons. This was one of the episodes they voted for, and thanks to their support, I was able to buy the welder and do this stuff. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. So hopefully this is helpful to everybody. So all right, let's go back to Dennis. Thanks again.
All right. I'm doing the middle one now on the top.
Okay.
All these positions are relative. It's confusing, I know.
So
But
middle one on the top. Okay.
yeah. So there's one connection here. This is
Mm-hmm. That's
pack
like the
positive,
terminal
pack
ends
negative.
for the pack side. Yep.
This is what we would call B2,
Okay.
positive right here. And we just put it here. And then trusty magnet.
I'm totally going to get
go.
some. I've got some tiny magnets somewhere, but they're not close by. But man, that's a really good idea. Oh, yeah, Nico. Oh, boy. That's a good one, Nico. Well, it's spot weld. Leia's going to be hiding everything metal.
Oh, no.
I like it. I'll tell you what.
And I'm doing the last one on the bottom.
So the welder was about 100 and what was it American? It was in 130 in euro.
130 euros. I don't know, 150.
Wow, that's easy. I was.
See, Josh, you're just shortcutting all this pain and suffering that I went through.
I am, man. This is the best way to do it. Look at this. Look how easy this is. I got impatient. I just knocked the other one out. So look, we've got two of them done. Like I just throw the little spot welds right on there. You can see them. They look like little 6-packs. You know, little 6 dots there.
Yep. I'm doing the third one now.
Okay, so let me follow along so I can see where the third one is. So I'll wait till you're done.
So this is where the third one is right here.
Okay, so let me cut a strip here.
And then the last one will come off of.
So let me see what you got so far. Show me your side. Okay, so that's the negative. So boom, boom, and then the one here. So let me show you my end, and you tell me if I've got it. Oop, wrong one. There you go. So this guy right here, right?
Yep.
Okay, take my. I'm using just a reused piece of electrical tape.
Yeah, that's what I used to do until someone told me about the magnet.
I love that magnet idea now. I can see the value in that.
Then the last one I'm doing is on pack positive.
Woo! Little sparky. And then pack positive is this guy.
Yep.
All right, let's go back to Dennis.
Where are you, little magnet? There we go.
Okay, so you've got now 5 leads, these little flaps that you can put on, and all of them go to negative, or basically negative terminals, and then the one on the right there, upper right corner, is the positive for the pack itself.
Yep.
Okay.
And then BMS is going to be right here.
All right, let me do mine really fast. Make sure I'm doing this right, Dennis. You're the adult here.
Okay.
All right, so last one, the positive, right? Here we go. Woo, little sparks.
Ooh, there you go. That's why you need the safety glasses.
Okay. That was a little off to the side, I think.
If there's any air gap, it will have a big spark.
Okay. So, yeah, I was off the side and touched the cell briefly. The cell top. We look okay. Let me put it right up in my face. Okay, so that's that. So now I have, if you see it on the video. So you've got the positive right there. And then these are basically the other cells, and then the negative, the pack negative.
So the orientation of the BMS is this one goes to the battery, this blue one. So I just put it facing that way.
Facing which way?
This is the negative, battery negative right here.
Okay, and so we gotta face it to
So
pack
basically
negative.
what we're doing is we're just connecting this to this, but that's kind of like toward the last step, right?
So let me see. So that's pack negative where the blue wire's closest, right?
Yes, this right here.
Okay, got it.
And then we're going to take this mess of wires. I don't connect it right yet. I mean, I do connect it just to know which way is the orientation.
Mm-hmm.
So I just plug it in here. And what's going to happen is we're going to start wiring this so that we know the lengths of wire that we need. I'm going to try to turn it so you can see what I'm doing.
I see.
So this is the black wire coming out of the BMS.
Okay, and that's got to go to
here.
pack negative, I guess.
This right here. This little flange that we made. We're going to solder it to that.
Okay.
Then the one right after it. This one right here.
Oh, going from the black wire. So we're counting off from the black
from
wire.
the black wire
Mm-hmm.
goes to this one.
Okay.
The first B1. And then the one right after that. The third one
Mm-hmm.
will go to B2. The second one here.
Okay.
And then this one goes right here to B3. Right? And then the last one goes to pack positive.
Okay.
And I actually don't know if it's bad to have it plugged into the BMS while doing this. I disconnect it.
Sure.
I've done it before where it is connected.
Okay.
My feeling is that it's only gonna have current flowing if the negative lead is plugged in. Everything else is fine. So
you do the negative last?
I tend to do the negative last.
Oh, okay.
But I was just explaining how the connection should be, but I actually don't complete the circuit until the final negative lead.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so let me make sure I understand. So I'm gonna pull up my video here, just so I can do it on the overhead so people follow along. So the BMS needs a certain wiring pattern.
Yeah.
You guys see that okay? So the pack negative is the blue wire, and that's this guy. And then this is, let me get that out of the way there. This is B1.
Yes.
This is B2.
Yep.
That's B3.
Yes.
And that's pack positive.
Yes.
Okay. So then going from this black wire, it's something like B1 is here.
Yeah.
B2 is the next in line, is here.
Yes.
B3 is, see, we're like braiding. B3 is there, and then pack positive is like that.
Yeah. And you just need to arrange the wires. I know that if K6ARK did this, it would be beautiful, but just kind of make it so the wires are out of the way and, not spaghetti under you'll see it through the PVC. So you want to kind of,
I guess a bit, but at the end of the day, we're using heat shrink tubing to cover all sins, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
As Adam
So,
Savage would say.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the first wire here.
Yeah, I'm gonna start cutting myself.
And I'm gonna route him around to here. So I'm gonna snip it.
Another important thing that I love is the flux pen. Very helpful.
So now is when we break out the flux pen.
Yep.
So I think you said we don't need to disconnect the BMS, but I am going to do that.
Yep.
So I'm gonna.
And actually, I think I skipped a step.
Okay.
The double-sided tape. We want to affix the BMS to the battery. Now, at this point, some people like to wrap the battery with some kind of paper. Like I have this. It's kind of like a sticky cardboard paper, adhesive paper, and they like to attach the BMS to something that isn't actually the batteries, but
Sure.
It doesn't even matter for me. I use this paper just to kind of cover the ends when I shrink wrap it so it looks a little cleaner.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just an optional thing. Other people like to, put a little something harder, like maybe a piece of plexiglass or piece of wood, something like that to have a more stable surface for the BMS to stick to. So I'm going to just get some lengths of VHB tape here and just kind of measure how wide it should be.
Of course. I looped a wire. I'll get my soldering wire out of the way. So I want the connector somewhere like right there. And I'm just pushing it into the double-sided tape to hold. It's not working that well. You know what? Let's bring back my friend the electric tape. Just to hold this connector into place so that I can get a rough idea of where everything measures.
We can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, sorry. I threw it back to you. So I threw the connector. I took the BMS off, and I put the connector, taped it down. And so this is the first connection, B1. So I'm going to go here.
Oh, okay. So that's the reason that I don't solder right now and fix the thing first.
I got all excited. Okay.
Because you might not cut right.
Oh, so you do solder with the BMS connected? I misunderstood.
Yeah. I don't actually. Okay, here. Let me see if I could explain here. I stick the BMS on, and then right before I solder, I disconnect this part, and I just kind of lay it on top.
The cable.
So I still have the length right.
Right.
But the BMS is there, and it's stuck.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. I just eyeballed where it was at, and then I threw the tape over it, so it was stuck there, the connector.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're going to watch you do this.
Well, this is where the swearing normally happens.
Yeah, of course.
VHB tape is very hard to separate. I don't know why. So actually, maybe you should go on you because I'm going to be trying to get this off here.
Okay, I can do that.
Because you have two-sided Kapton tape, which is infinitely easier.
It's not that sticky, though, so just keep that in mind. That's why I had to throw the electrical tape on. So anyway, I'm going to take my wire for B1. So I'm going to get my finger out of the way.
This thing really fights me every step of the way for this VHB. Got one.
Ah! I did that wrong. I should have did it right-handed. That's a little messy. Ah, it's not holding. Not holding.
All right. So I have two pieces of VHB tape stuck to my batteries.
Okay, hold on.
I'm just gonna
flip back to you.
I'm just going to put the BMS squarely on the center of those two.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
And then plug this in just to get a sense of the... Oh, I should probably fire up my soldering iron. So here's the funny thing. This is one of the early batteries that I built. And I actually built this one with solder, not with a spot welder.
Okay.
It's the same kind of cells, but it's 4 series, 3 parallel.
That's a big boy. How many amp hours is that?
This is 8.55 amp hours. And so I just charged it up. It has a little voltmeter on there. This will be powering my soldering iron.
Ah, very good.
So this is a TS100 soldering iron.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite little tools. So I'm just going to fire that up. Let it heat up. Oh, there's my other nickel strip. I lost that guy. And then I'm going to do what you were doing. I'm just going to do some flux on all the points.
Flux is the secret. Mike went on a little talking discussion on flux. While you're doing that, I'll show my flux here so everybody can see it. I am an advocate of the little flux pen with the little felt tip there. You boop, 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 dab it on. Good stuff.
Yep.
I believe I have that on my Amazon store if you go to it for under the solder or the kit building, you'll see it.
All right.
You're a little out of focus, but it's probably going to flip.
I don't know why that is, but
yeah, black it out completely with your hand, and then there you go. That's probably, is that a Logitech cam?
I don't actually know what brand it is. It's a generic webcam, but fixed focal length or something. It's like it gets out of focus very easily. All right, so I'm going to start cutting and stripping these leads, which I think you already did one, right?
I did. I think I did it right. Are you? Can you take a look real quick?
Sure.
This is B1.
Oh no! No, I'm just kidding. You did it right.
And then B2, B3, and then positive. Okay.
Yep. No, perfect.
Oh no!
See if I could strip this. Okay. And get my solder or solder. I know people make fun of us Americans for saying solder.
I get comments like that, and I'm like, bro, I don't care. I don't care. You know what I meant, right?
Again, sorry for the quality of my video.
So I'm doing this right-handed right now, which is not my solder preference, but it works. I'm going to snip the next wire just to get ready. And the wire, again, the wire lengths don't matter, right? You don't have to have a... the BMS wires don't have to be matching lengths or anything fun like that, right?
Nope. So I just did B1. I'm going to do B2. Just got to make sure I get the right ones.
That seems important.
I did do them out of order once, and...
Does that matter?
I released the magic smoke from the BMS.
Oh boy! Okay, so that does matter. All right, good. We don't want that.
Luckily, I buy BMSs 5 at a time.
So I'll flip to me really fast. I'm going to do B2. So I cut the wire and already did my my stripping. I put a blob of solder on there so I can just warm it back up. Add my wire. This is probably the more effective way of doing it. Yep, I'm much happier with that approach.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Instead of trying to do it all at one time.
Yep.
There you go. Beautiful. Look at that.
You need 3 hands if you're trying to do it all at once.
Other thing to remind people, throw away your sponges and get yourself a ashtray with a scouring pad in it. One of those Scotch-Brite poofy pad things, metal.
Oh, yeah.
This is the jam.
I have one here, right here.
Yeah, you have to. And Hako makes one that looks like a Hako. Let me go back there so you can see it. Yeah.
Yep.
Much better than any kind of sponge or anything like that.
So B2 is connected.
B2 is connected here. It looks like. I hope. I mean, we'll find out, won't we?
Now I'm going to B3. So what I used to do, and the reason we did these flanges, which seems like an extra step, is I used to just wind the wires all around the cells and try to get creative with where they went to soldering them directly to the cells.
Sure.
And I realized, okay, what if I mess something up? It's going to be really a pain to undo this. And my wiring's all over the place. So why not just have them all on one side? So I just route the wire over to one side and cover it up with PVC.
I mean, worst case scenario, you could just replace the BMS, right?
Yep. And you'll notice, if you're ever shopping for cells, you'll notice that there are cells that have these nickel strips already like this.
Oh, okay.
They're
Yeah.
just hanging off of the edges of the
Mm-hmm.
positive and negative. Got to tell you, Josh, I've never done this in one go.
All
Normally
right.
I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna go drink some Coke right now or something and just take a break. But we're pretty much like 2/3 done here. We just
Yeah,
need
we're
to
pretty
do.
close. I'm gonna do mine really fast here.
All right. Oh, too fast. Gotta wait for it to cool down.
Yep. I noticed that myself. So this is a real crash course. This is like
Now,
between building Adam's antenna last week and now doing this week. This is awesome.
yeah.
For everybody that's following along with doing the CW stuff. Like we're building. So we got the CW antenna, we got the CW battery pack, and then I'll actually build a kit that I succeed at, and then we'll be all set. I have kits that I've succeeded at, just so everybody knows, but I haven't really had one recent that I was able to do all in one sitting.
So the last thing, um, is this the last step
Mm-hmm.
so that you can activate with everything you've built from the ground up?
Yeah, it's like my wife got really interested in the idea of making a BLT that is all the things that she either grew, killed, produced, and cooks at the end. So go and kill a feral hog, make your own bacon,
Oh boy.
cure it, cook it, grow the tomato, grow the lettuce, get the eggs for the mayonnaise, all that stuff. The oil, I guess, would be kind of tricky, but
I'm trying to remember the camera so I can show people what I'm up to. But since my camera's so fuzzy, it's hard to see anyway.
it's okay. I think we all get the idea of what you're doing there. I'm really glad you're kind of co-piloting, or not, you're piloting, I'm co-piloting, but I'm glad you're here for this because this can be daunting to people, but watching you do it and going through it, and then I guess watching me do it is pretty easy, I think.
Yeah.
I think that there's no reason why people can't make this happen.
Well, I was commenting on this with Adam K6ARK. The guy designs PCBs and
Yeah.
he makes radios, actual
Mhm.
transmitters, and designs them from his brain.
Mhm.
This is kind of like low tech electronics right here. Just make sure you don't cross,
Don't
close a circuit. That's
don't
all it
don't
is.
cross the streams, guys. Don't cross the streams.
All right. Now this is the part where sometimes I would just disconnect the. It's plugged in right now, but
Oh, the
this is
BMS.
where,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm not going to do it this time. We'll see what happens.
Oh, okay. So we're leaving it on you. I'm
Yeah.
prepping the B1 pad, or sorry, the positive pad. I think I'm about
Just
due for another tip. I put a whole lot of solder through this Hako tip. I might have to get a new one. I have a normal like needle tip, the precision tip that I use for a lot of stuff, but I think I'm gonna go. I went back to the chisel tip for this build just to get better heat transfer.
what I love about this TS100 is it says, "Hey, you haven't moved me in a while. I'm going to fall asleep now."
Not well. The Hako will, I think, turn itself off after a couple hours, but I should get my phone and take a picture of this whole mess so I can put it on the Instagrams. All right, he did the dangerous part, guys.
Yep. So now it is connected.
All right, let me catch up here. So I got to do the positive lead. So this guy here, and I brought out my needle nose for this so I can kind of
I think I
hold.
went a little too generous on the lead, so now I got to tuck this guy underneath.
I can hold this guy into place and not burn myself. So there's already solder applied. So we're just gonna warm up the solder, integrate the wire, hold it, hold it, hold it. There we go.
Hold.
Hold. All right, so now the last part then you said is this is when it can get a little
Yes.
fun.
But I mean, your BMS is still off, so
Yeah,
it's
I
fine.
pulled mine off. So you guys see that okay? You're all framed good. Okay. So last piece here, I'm gonna strip this guy off. I guess we're here dispelling the myth. I mean, yes, this is dangerous and you got to be respectful of it, but so far this has been, I think, pretty safe. I mean, yes, we're dealing with that was too much flux, but it's okay. It'll burn off right now.
It's better too much than too little.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're. Ooh, watch
There you
out!
go. Oh, that's a lot.
I pushed the little nozzle down and it splurted a whole bunch out. This pen is like this nozzle's not great on. These pens are really cheap, by the way, guys. So they will fire off a bunch of flux. So, all right, last little bit here. Let me grab the.
You are a generous solderer.
I got it, man. We're doing this once, and I'm not gonna. We're gonna be good. All right, going in there, going in hot. The blowing helps, guys. I promise. Okay.
All right. Looks good.
Nobody in particular. I tin my soldering tip, then I run it over the little scouring pad, and then I'll leave it. I'll throw a little bit more on and leave it like that, and turn it off. All right, so you got yours. So now do I?
So you're gonna want to affix your BMS to your pack.
Okay. Question for you, Dennis. Where did Dennis get the cool wire trimmer? What was your wire trimmer? Did I miss it? What do you have?
I have this Leatherman. What
Oh,
do
the
they call it?
micro. That's a micro.
Squirt. It's a
Oh,
Leatherman
squirt.
Squirt. And this is part of my EDC. It's always in that tiny pocket in your jeans. Because you never know when you need to snip a wire.
Yep. Leatherman has historically made a couple of stripping tools that they haven't, but they discontinue them often. I will show you what I keep in my little lighter pocket on my jeans. Always the tactical keychain utility blade. This thing is always in that pocket. Except when I fly. They won't let me take this. This
Oh,
thing
yeah.
is, I love utility blades. I always keep one on me because I usually have some kind of knife that I don't want to just sit and dull with cardboard boxes. So
I actually lost one of these to TSA.
yeah, see that's exactly.
And it made me so sad. Because I totally forgot that I had it in my pocket.
Jeremy Lie in the chat. Blowing on. Whoop, this one. Blowing on your solder is going to lead to cold solder joints. I was just kidding, Jeremy, and I'm so far away it doesn't matter. Anyway, okay, so BMS connected. You got yours connected. What's the next step here? I'm going to clip
Well,
mine in.
you need to affix yours to your battery pack.
Okay, I'm affixing. I am affixed.
All right. Now we're going to connect this blue wire to pack negative.
Oh, boy. Okay. This is what starts to separate the men from the boys, right? This is the...
Pretty much. It's very short wire we're working with.
Yeah, I noticed that, Des. And it's
I don't even know if I can do this well. Let's see.
I'm actually going to strip it. I'm going to disconnect it. I cut it. Now I just need to strip a piece off.
It's going to be a challenge. I might actually have to go. Well, I don't know.
I think I got this. All right, here. Let me flip back over to me here for a second. This could be catastrophic. Could be fun. Let's see if I can. Well, let me get my BMS back on here. Okay, tapped it down. All right, so here's my short little BMS wire. I'm going to bend it into place.
It's not very much.
And I don't know that that's going to be enough solder now that I see it. Nope, I need more solder. I need more solder. Let's tin this first.
It's definitely more challenging than I remember.
And we're doing it live, so of course.
Gotta wake up my soldering iron.
Okay, tin the wire. I lost the other wire, so we're already doing good job.
Yeah, the B negative disconnected. Yeah, just kind of get that out of the way for now.
Should I put it back on?
If you got the blue wire on, yeah. All right, let's see if I could do this without burning myself.
In fact, I know a better way of doing this. We're gonna... you know what? I think we're pretty much there. Hold on. All my attempts to make it better are making it worse, Dennis.
Uh-oh.
Let's do this again. I got a better way of doing this. All right. Okay, hold on. Here's the better way of doing this.
All right, I got mine.
Nope, that's not... Ah! Come on.
Doesn't want to cooperate?
It will. I will make it. I just have to get them all on the
Maybe
same...
you can tack 2 solder points, one higher up and one for
I've got
below.
it. I just needed to grab it with the needle nose.
You're just going to connect them.
Yep. Got it. That's not the cleanest solder I've ever done, I'll tell you what.
That's quite a bit of solder, but yeah, you got it. You know, and this can be remedied by moving the BMS further back, or
That's, yeah, in my case.
or maybe move it all the way up to the front and bend the wire around. But I've done various different ways of making this happen.
There you go.
Including ignoring that flange altogether and just soldering it to the pack negative. But this one makes it a little cleaner when you wrap it up.
Okay, so we have
So we have this.
Yep.
So next step is we're going to, well, what we can do right now is get the multimeter out again.
Okay, all right. Love testing on the way.
Puppy. Let's see if I messed anything up by doing a live solder.
Okay, so what are we testing?
So I'm going to go to this, which is the BMS negative.
Okay.
And then I'll touch it to pack positive. And I get 10.28 volts, which is what we measured earlier.
Okay. Let's see if I can duplicate.
Or I can't. I couldn't show that to you, but trust me, I got 10.28
Okay,
volts.
I trust you. I trust you implicitly, because if I didn't, then we wouldn't have an adult here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
No?
I've got a problem, I think. Do I have a problem?
Touch it onto battery negative or pack negative and see. Touch your negatively.
What have I done?
What's It's not measuring any voltage?
No.
Interesting. How is that possible?
Oh, wait. There. Okay. Something's happening now. I don't know what just happened. So okay, let's repeat.
Okay, that's what we had last time. Now go to BMS negative lead.
Nope.
Interesting. Okay, let's proceed. It might be that we need to wake up the BMS.
Okay. I mean
Or
the cells are all still good. They're all still what
yeah.
we had.
And did you check your connection to the plug in the back?
Yep. Let's do this for a second. I mean, it measures something, but it's definitely not the output we expect.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's sally forth and we'll see if it actually does anything.
Yeah.
Let's see what do we do. We'll troubleshoot it live.
I'm not quite sure. Let's see here. So we're going to take that red piece of wire that I sent you.
Okay.
I already snipped one end off of it.
You're trying to strip it?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I'm going to solder that here to pack positive. Okay. And it's basically going to go like this.
You're blocking it a little bit. I see. Okay, so you're on the tab.
And you see now we have positive and negative for the Anderson power poles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to wake up my soldering iron again. It's probably going to disconnect the middle one. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to disconnect it. So I don't mess with the BMS. So I unplugged my leads from my BMS.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a feeling this is going to pop off the moment I try to solder it.
The positive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like it did with the negative. What am I doing? Gotta get the solder on here first.
All right. Looks like he's got.
All right. So I got my red wire. Let's see if I can get it to focus here. On the positive. Just going to loop it under this guy here.
Okay, hold on. Let me strip off mine. I'm going to do a. in parallel, I did the same thing. So I've got the positive, pack positive, and that goes to the two connectors. Oh, probably don't want to touch them. Let's
Yep.
keep those far apart. So now you should be able to check both ends, right?
Yes. This is where I've also shorted.
Hey, it's back. I think I just had a bad. I redid that while nobody was looking. I hid my crimes, so I redid that one.
Well, you're at
Oh
3
wait.
volts. What happened?
Oh, because I don't have the BMS connected. Well,
Yes.
let's do that. Ugh. Okay.
I will do the same. But I'm not going to measure that. So, like I was saying, I have actually shorted out at this last step with connecting the power poles. You're dealing at this point with live wires.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be careful with the power pole point of this.
Let me grab my crimpers. I forgot to pull those out. Okay, yes, live wires, so be very careful.
At certain points, I would, let me see if I could show that to the group.
These are the 30 amp array, right?
10.3 volts. And so what I do with the power poles is I do them one at a time, or I even cover one of the exposed wires with electrical tape while I do the other one. Because the last thing you want to do is cross those two wires. That will enact the BMS short protection.
Okay. So I will do that.
So at least you have that. But it's best not to test it.
What did we say this relative amp hours will be on this? 3 to 4?
The cells are 2.85 amp hour cells, so times, and then they're 4 in series, so that doesn't change the capacity. So you have roughly just under a 3 amp hour battery that we're building here.
Okay.
And I see you're already, or I hear it. You're already crimping.
Yeah. Those crimpers, man, make it easy.
And so what we're dealing with here is the wire that comes out of the BMS is a 14 gauge wire. So I just supplied Josh with a segment of 14 amp or 14 AWG, 14 gauge wire in red. And that, in theory, will fit fine inside a 30 amp power pole connector.
Okay.
So I got to get my trusty crimper out as well. And I actually struggle with this, so I might have to go off camera.
Okay, well, you do that. I'll finish up the... Oh, yeah, go ahead. Hey.
Looks like I did it.
Yep.
All right. Now this one. So now this is the point where I'm just like, do not touch each other, right? So I actually don't have any tape available.
Yeah, I threw tape over this guy. So
But I just want to make sure that I don't even come close. So
these are kind of soft wires, so
yeah,
notice it.
I'm just gonna move it out of the way, but you don't want them to touch. I don't know if it matters that there's a little bit of solder on this, but try anyway.
If you can't make it go by pushing, which these wires are a little soft, I take a flathead screwdriver, find an edge where... Oh, gotta turn it over.
There we go.
And just push down. And then it locks it into place. Like that.
So this is going to be like this. I just pre-attach them. And then I start with one of them.
So how would I actually see if this thing's working correctly or not? Because the multimeter didn't show anything. So is it possible that the BMS is unhappy?
Oh, I thought you got it.
I don't think so.
It's still showing 0 volts.
Well. Let me go back here. I've got a tester here.
All right, this is where I'm gonna move things around a little bit.
Nope.
Still at 0.
Yep. Well, it's not turning on my tester, so I've got something going on. What did I do?
Not sure, Josh.
Does this require 12 volts?
All right. So now I have my Andersons, and this is the part where I use zip ties to try to even it out. But sorry, my hands are always in the way.
While you do that, I'm going to look for my important cable for jumping Andersons. You keep going. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right.
So one guess, Josh, is maybe, do you have a 12-volt power source?
Oh,
that
yeah.
you can charge with?
Yeah. 13.8, okay?
Yeah. Try to jump start the BMS. See if that helps.
Yeah, I saw Mike in the chat. I'm going to attempt that right now. We're going to give it the old power supply defibrillator right now.
Exactly. Because I've had this happen before. I just, as soon as current flowed through the circuit, it seemed to wake things up.
Okay, so we might as well just go ahead and put the camera here so that if this goes terribly... It didn't do anything.
Let's disconnect it and do the multimeter again. This time on the power poles.
Okay. Hey, it's alive.
There we go. We woke it up.
So yeah, it must have been when I was dinking around with this guy with all the heat. I just didn't like that. All right, well, sweet.
Yeah. All right. So now, I don't know if you can see mine. Let me transition back to desk view.
We're still, yeah, let's keep going. Because we still got to throw some heat shrink on this bad boy and do the whole thing.
So
right?
this is, I just put a zip tie up here to kind of keep them together.
Let me see how you did it. Show me on the...
Just right here.
Sure. Okay, I'll do the same. Oh, you did it better than me, though. You put the red wire underneath the blue wire. I should have done that. Oh well.
Yeah.
It's my first battery, guys.
This is what we cover everything with blue PVC. And I'll show that to everyone right now. This is a roll of, this is actually 110 millimeter wide PVC. What you do is you measure the width of the battery and the height. And then you double it and add a little bit more, like
Okay.
10% more. So that's what I did. And I came up with 110. And you can get this in like 2-meter length. So you get a lot of it. But essentially, this here is the battery. You could use this now.
Yeah, you could.
But we're going to make it prettier.
Where's the fun in that, though, right? We want it to look field ready, right?
So what I like to do is I take this green, I think this was sold as battery backing paper.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I didn't see it in your picture, Josh. Did you get this? Or did it go out with the box?
Oh, no. Did you give me that?
I
I didn't.
sent you one of these too.
Ah! I have to go look. No, I think I... How bad is it if I don't have this?
Well, you're just going to have, in the shrink wrap, you're just going to see the cells.
Oh, I don't care.
But I like to cover it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, show everybody how to cover it then, because I obviously threw that away thinking that was wrapping for
dust
for
protection,
shipping.
basically. Yeah. I kind of hastily put that box together, and the packing stuff was very confusing.
I guarantee you it wasn't your fault, Dennis.
It's just shredded.
I guarantee you it was my fault.
So I just put it up here like this and just wrap it around the bottom. Doesn't need to. Sometimes I cover the whole bottom, but you know.
I can see where I screwed up with my my Anderson's leads. I should have wrapped the positive. I should have routed the positive below the blue wire coming off the BMS. That would have made this a lot easier.
Okay.
So I'm now hiding my crimes with Kapton tape.
Just gonna have a little bulge there in the wrapping.
Well, it was also trying to work its way over the top of the BMS, which I don't want for the heat shrink.
Okay.
No problem.
Sometimes this doesn't cooperate. I gotta bend it around. But see, I'm just basically hiding the cells. Just a little bit of, you don't want crud and lint and all that kind of stuff.
This is the stuff my wife does with wrapping presents, right? Taping the little pieces of paper on the ends there. You're prettying it up, Dennis.
Yes.
Well, I guess it has a purpose. Like you said, it keeps the dirt and all that other stuff out, too.
And then I already cut this for you, and I actually gave you 2 pieces.
So I can screw up once, yeah.
Yeah. So
thank you, Dennis.
A lot of people try to wrap something like a battery, and it ends up like doing this fold at the end, and it's all kind of like gnarly at the ends. You need to just do about 1/4, maybe 1/3 of an inch at most on the edges.
Okay.
Don't do too much on the edges.
Right. There's diminishing returns on heat shrink. It can't it's not going to close up on the ends.
Yes. It's not going to completely close. So I just did this. That might even be a bit much, but we'll see.
Chris Jones, you are right, sir. I could do that, but I've Kapton taped the crap out of it, and I'm going to hide my crimes with heat shrink.
Yes.
Let's see how it goes.
All right. So last step, just put it in there. I always have trouble with this. Sometimes I just reach through.
Yeah, you got to make sure you show off your heat gun. Everybody likes to.
Sometimes I do this and mess things up as I push it through. But
what heat gun do you use?
Oh yeah, let me get it.
You got to make sure you show everybody. They want to see that. I mean, they will in a second because you're obviously doing this. But oh, that metal plate probably works really well for heat shrinking. Do you just leave it sitting there?
No.
Okay.
But all right. This is the heat gun.
Ooh. Where'd you get that?
It's called Heat Tool, and it is a I don't know, 300 watts. And I got it on Amazon. I think it was like maybe $15. So let's see if it works.
Here we go.
What I like to do is I start on the ends.
Mm-hmm.
That way it kind of traps
Right.
the thing.
Yeah, because you can get a little sliding, but with these black plasticky cell holders, I don't think that's
If you
gonna be a
start
problem.
in the middle, yeah, it could actually slide a bit.
I got real good at heat gunning stuff with shrink tube, particularly that adhesive stuff, when I put together the step IR. There's a lot of heat shrinking in that step IR, those hollow element tubes. Look at that. I realized I got to clear some space here.
And there we go.
All right. Hey, look at that. That's beautiful. All right, let's let's watch me screw this up.
So this is what I'm talking about. You see these little tiny
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah.
here. So I actually, even with what my cut just now, I did a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Well,
wouldn't be there if I cut it.
Well, I'm since you sent me 2 heat shrinks, I might just do this one right now, and then maybe between the show I'll run back to the trash can and see if I've got that green piece of paper in there. But here's mine, and my heat gun is the 1500 watt Harbor Freight job. I'm gonna start in low setting. Maybe need high. No, I need high. Whoa, that's too much. No, don't need high.
A little fast.
This is very reactive. I've never used heat shrink this big. Oh no, it's wrinkling.
It's fine. Just keep going. It'll all smooth out.
Come on now.
It'll smooth out.
Look at that. Yeah, mine's a little rough with the cells. I can see that now. The paper is probably nice to have.
Yeah, it just kind of hides it.
All right.
There you go. Ta-da!
Beauty.
You made you a battery.
I've got a battery now. And size-wise, let's put this next to the Venus, because that's my plan, is that this is gonna be the
As big as the rig.
Yeah. No, that's great, because I mean this is 3 amp hours, so this will last this radio a good long time. That's wonderful, man. Boy, I'll tell you what. I mean, if you think about it, right? I mean, yes, you obviously know what you're doing here, but I don't know what I'm doing. You kind of help point me in the right direction. But boy, we built this thing in less than an hour and a half.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then I just wanted to show, people will ask, okay, so how do I charge this thing?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, first of all, I wanted to plug in this little meter just to show people that, yep, now I have.
Oh, hold on. Let me flip over to you.
I now have 10.21 volts, so it's really low right now. Got to charge it. And these cells can handle 5 amps of charge.
Mm-hmm.
So I got one of these little thingies. It's basically a 5.5 by 2.1 barrel. And then I just put power poles on it. Right?
Okay.
And then I have these. Bioeno sells these, but I got these from AliExpress. These are like just brick chargers that put out 14.6 volts. And they come with a little plug. Be sure if you get it from AliExpress that you order the US plug. I got the EU one once. I was like, what am I going to do with this? But so I have one of those handy right now.
Oh, I just learned something. Let's see if this fixed it. Hold on.
So I will charge it now. Well,
wow. Okay, so I learned again doing things live. I was off camera, but I was doing something similar. I plugged in the battery pack to my little watt meter, and I plugged it into the load side. And when I did that, it reset the BMS. So don't do that.
huh.
Now I kind of want to connect it to a radio and see if it actually powers it on.
Well, you got 11.16 volts there, according to your little meter.
That should be fine. I just have to figure out where I put that wire for the... The only downside with the Venus is that its power connector is not standard. It's not a standard coaxial. Now I don't know where the heck I put it. Okay, no matter. Hold on. Oh, wait. That's it. I don't want to blow up my mountain topper with the with this potentially, but I will blow up a Venus. I don't think anything's gonna blow up, but regardless, let's
mountain topper can't take this much voltage, but
oh no, it can. The 4-band can.
It can. Okay.
It's working. Oh, that's a super bright screen. Holy smokes!
And there you go.
We did it. Or I gotta say, Dennis, you did it. I was just hands. Oh man. All right. Boy, Dennis, that was really cool. Let me flip over here, get us both on the screen. Man, thank you. Now let's do this again. So we're gonna make sure we remind everybody about what you got going on. So your podcast is still going. You're still running your show, right?
Yeah, a little bit of vacation break.
And where do people find that? Make sure you mention everything.
And that's Hamdom Thoughts is my podcast. I don't necessarily talk about batteries, but it comes into the topic once in a while. It's at anchor.fm/AD6DM, my call.
And you, tell people a little bit about it. It's an interview show, right? You talk to a lot of interesting ham radio people.
It's just getting to know the ham behind the operation. That's pretty much the tagline. And I just meet various people, or I've gotten a lot of recommendations lately. People would say, hey, you should interview this person. I'd reach out. And that's how my last episode was, because I did not know N6ARA era. But I think it was Dan, AI6XG, said you should interview him. He's really cool. And this is right around the time he started inventing that tiny paddle. So we talked a lot about that as well. But yeah, it's been going for about 1.5 years now. And it's looking like a monthly podcast at this point, but I'm hoping to get more guests line up.
I was talking to my wife about your podcast. She likes your voice, as most people do. Everybody comments on you. You've got a great radio voice.
It's this thing right here.
Yeah, it helps. It helps. But she was basically saying it's like running an interview show where you're like have to source people that you talk to, outside your home is much harder. I just grab my wife and say it's podcast time, right? And we do the show. So it's a bit easier for me. So I can imagine it. It can get kind of difficult, trying to pull people in and all that stuff. The other thing I want to mention for Dennis here is make sure you go follow him on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
AD6DM on Twitter. He's out there a lot posting stuff. And again, all the links, I saw Wes in the in the chat. So is there a list of cells and where to get this stuff? It's all in the description for this video. There's a section that says links from this video, and it's all the links that Dennis provided me on how to do this different stuff, where to find some of this stuff. Because again, different cells you could use. Dennis talked about some of them, you know.
Yeah, I just want to mention that this was something that we built specific to Josh's purpose. He wanted a QRP battery.
Correct. And looking at your website, and in fact, we didn't spend much time there, so we should probably pull some of that up right now so you can talk through a little bit about it. But you've got a whole section on makes and versions, which is right here at the top, if you can see makes and versions. And you've got a lot of different Denko batteries that you've made of all kinds of different varieties. And so what predominantly do you make?
I mostly make the ones that are the 32650 cells, around 6 amp hours or so. I find that's a happy medium between QRO and QRP.
Sure.
In fact, I am working on one. Let me reach it here.
Oh, we should remind everybody that this BMS system is both input and output on those Andersons. So if you plug it into a power supply, it will charge off of it, or a solar panel for that matter. So
this, I'm doing what we did, but doubling it.
Doubling it.
With larger cells. So this is the battery hookup 32650s. Each of these cells is 6 amp hours. So this will be a 12 amp hour pack. And the BMS is pretty interesting. It's this flat BMS, open.
I saw that. I saw the do you have which battery? Which battery was it where you had the straps that just go right on top of that board?
Yeah, that's the latest one, the Mark 10.
Mark 10. Okay, let me click on that. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So yeah, if you see this, check this out. So you're spot welding directly on the PCB.
Yes, so even the soldering parts and that's this one.
And this is a 12 amp hour battery.
This is a 6 amp hours because it's just
the one you're building.
The one I'm building is 12.
Right. But, so if you followed Dennis earlier, you just add more cells to this and you get the amp hours you want out of it.
If I could show you
Is that the give it the beans button there on the side?
You can't see the numbers because it's too bright, but it's 13.2 volts is what it's showing. But yeah.
I love it.
I love this one a lot. I'm probably going to use this BMS more. The only thing I noticed is it runs a little hot. So I had to build some space around some of the...
I was going to say, just right up against the PCB like that's probably going to get warm, right?
Yeah. So I made some air gaps there to make sure it doesn't melt the plastic or anything.
I wonder if you had an air gap and then you had those cheap aluminum heat sinks that you could kind of put on there. I don't know. They'd probably get saturated so fast.
It could, but then I'd have problems with the PVC. So I was thinking...
And today,
hopefully it doesn't melt it.
Today we built something similar to his Denko QRP battery Mark II.
Yes.
Which
those came about from temporarily offline asking me how to put batteries into a case.
Right, I remember that. And you sent a lot of this stuff to him.
I made 3 of them for him and put them into the lid of a Nanook case. And then he had to figure out how to affix them and what he wanted to put as a rig in there. So it's kind of like your battery case rig.
So everybody's asking now, voltmeter on a battery? Guys, he has a ton of these batteries. Again, the link's in the description. You can go look at all the builds. It includes voltmeters. There's little buttons to activate the voltmeter and all that stuff. Me, though, I just wanted a simple 3 amp hour battery that can go with my Venus and some kits that I'm building.
This flat pack that I just showed has a USB port.
There you go. Oh, will that charge off of that, or is that output?
No, that's just output. But it's a 3 amp USB module, so it could power a Pi 4.
Yeah, that's sweet.
And the other side powers the radio.
And you can run these off of Anderson or PowerPole breakout bars and all that stuff. So, yeah, if you start thinking in the sense of what's possible, I can add more cells. There's different BMS options, and you guys saw it. We did it live. You know, I would say it was around an hour and a half to build the whole thing, including all my little stream opening and all that stuff. So, Dennis, this was fantastic. This worked out pretty much I'm kind of on a streak, and I think I've found out what the secret is you just bring people on like Dennis, and we do it live, and then we have Adam. We built the antenna with Adam. If you just bring the people on that know how to build the stuff, and I just follow along with them, it's really easy. It's really verily that's the secret
So,
sauce.
I also wanted to say, Josh, you weren't expecting this, but this 3 amp hour I just built on
Yeah.
the show, I don't have a use for it. So I'd like to donate this. If you want to have another sweepstakes,
Wow.
you can
Okay.
have this as the someone can win this battery.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so then not next week, because guess what? Next week is Hamcation, and I will be at in Orlando next week. So streaming is going to be very crazy. I don't know how it's all going to go. But the following week, I think I'm doing something with ICOM. I believe I am. Otherwise, we'll do it then or the following week. But that's Dennis.
Yep,
Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Thank you for
sure.
that. So basically, you have to follow the Discord to get in on the giveaways. It makes my life easier. Speaking of giveaways, let's go ahead and I totally missed the giveaway, but we gave away that FT70, and the winner is Lee Rippey. Lee Rippey, you won the FT70, the Yaesu FT70. So I'll contact you on Discord. I'll send you a message on where to ship it, and we'll take care of it on that side. Yeah, Dennis, you got a couple minutes, hopefully more than a couple of minutes, maybe an hour or so to join us on the Discord after chat.
Yeah. I got to go
Okay.
feed the cats real quick, and then I got to get my other laptop out because Discord doesn't work too well on my main PC. But
That's fine. I got to switch over the
I'll be
whole.
on there.
Awesome.
Mhm.
So Dennis is going to join us. Everybody who I try to do my best to click on some of the questions and get them answered. But if you have more questions or any ham radio questions, if you're starting out or interested in any part of the hobby, whatever, take the link in the description to join our Discord. Go to live-stream, hashtag live-stream. It's towards the bottom of the chat room list. There is both a text chat and then a speaker, and that's the voice chat. We're going to both be in the text chat and the voice chat, and you can join us there. We'll talk to you. We'll answer your questions live, and I'll be simul streaming on Twitch, and you can find me at Ham Radio Crash Course on Twitch.
All
Dennis,
right.
thanks again for coming out, man. I super
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you, Josh. Thanks for having me on. I've never done, as I said, never
You,
done it in one go. I'd always like it would be multi-day kind of thing, but yeah, this
honestly,
was
like
an easy build.
you probably should just shoot what we just did in a video and
Yeah.
post it on YouTube. Like it didn't take that long, really. Like if and the way you would do it if you weren't slowing down because of me, you'd be able to blow through the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
People would get a ton of value out of
Well, a
that.
ton of people asked me. They're like, "Do you have any build videos?" And
You
I'd
should make
always
one.
put it on my to-do list and never do it. I said, "Let's kill two birds with one stone. Let's do it on Josh's channel." So here we go.
Well,
Send them your stream.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And then they can watch somebody who's never done it before fumble along and still make it work. So, all right, Dennis, I'll let you go right now and we'll catch up on the Discord. So, thanks again for coming
All
out.
right. Thank you.
All right. Wow, that was really cool. I'm really excited it works, and I'm really excited I didn't burn the house down, and I'm assuming Leia is too. So that's that's pretty good news. All right, this was a patron picks episode, and that means that it was supported by and selected by the wonderful patrons that help support the channel, as well as buying my Walmart battery and this spot welder and all this fun stuff. I can see totally like just building battery packs now because if you think about it, all you need to do is buy the cell. Once you have the spot welder and the battery, you just need the nickel strips and the cells and the BMSs. And then if you want to add more USB ports, whatever, you could build them all together and the heat shrink, and that's it. This is something everyone can do. If you're pretty confident in building antennas and you've built some kit radios, maybe, you can definitely do this. So I really encourage you to unplug my arc welder. It's in standby mode right now, so nobody's going to get hurt. You got to do something special to get it out of that. But seriously, I would highly recommend everybody try this out. This is really fun, and in fact, I think that spot welder is one of the coolest things that I've bought. That's sub $200 in the last couple of months. That's a lot of fun to use. I almost want to buy more cells and more nickel strips just to do that again because that was really cool. So. All right. Hopefully, all the questions that we see coming in, you guys join us over on the Discord, and we'll help answer them the best we can. and have some fun. And don't worry, as much as I know you probably have a lot of battery questions, for everybody who's like, oh, I like batteries, but I have ham radio questions. It's okay. Join us over there too, and we'll definitely be able to answer them as well. Thank you so much to the patrons and the brew crew. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody, all the Patreon supporters. Thanks to Dennis. Make sure you take the links in the description to check him out. Make sure you listen to Hamdom Thoughts wherever you podcast, whatever you search for, however you do the podcasting. While you're at it, also look up the Ham Radio Crash Course. All right, I am Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks so much for listening. I'll play it with some memes. 73. Flip over. Here we go. There we go. We got it. 73, everybody. Enjoy the memes. All right, everybody. Take it easy. I'll see you on the Discord.